Let's get right to breaking news right now. An incident at Powerhouse in Yuba County is leading to a power outage impacting thousands of people.
Yes, you're looking at a live look right now at the outage map. It shows at least 3,000 PG&E customers are impacted right now. And
we do want to show you a look at what appears to be a broken pipe. So here's the deal. PG&E says when that pipe broke, it flooded a powerhouse, causing those major power outages. You can see in these photos from Cal Fire the massive flooding happening right now. Yeah, so let's put this in a little bit more perspective here. According to the Yuba Water Agency, this incident is happening at the new Colgate Powerhouse facility just south of the town of Dobbins. They're asking people to avoid that area while they investigate. This is a developing story, so stay with ABC 10 for updates. Well, tonight, State Senator Megan Dolly says my team is monitoring this incident and we hope to understand more about what happened. For now, I am very grateful for the news that there were no injuries and the workers at the plant were evacuated. My prayers are with all involved as they work on repairs. Of course, this is something we're going to continue to follow. It's going to have a major impact, perhaps, for quite some time. Well, good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Certainly a busy Friday for us. I'm Laura Painter. And I'm Chris Thomas. We do thank you for joining us here on the ABC 10 app. Well, lawmakers have left Washington with no deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security. This is a live look at the nation's capital tonight. Democrats are demanding reforms to ICE policy following those deadly shootings in Minnesota. President Trump says he's involved in negotiations, but deflected questions about what concessions Republicans would be open to or how long he's prepared to let the shutdown continue.
How long are you prepared for this fight to go on?
To protect law enforcement and our great police and ICE and Border Patrol and everybody.
Because of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, ICE has the funding it needs to keep paying its agents. And people forced to work without pay largely work for TSA, the Coast Guard, and FEMA.
Federal officials are investigating if 2 ICE agents lied under oath about a shooting in Minneapolis in January. ICE Director Todd Lyons says ICE and the Justice Department are looking into video evidence revealing the officers may have lied about an incident where 2 Venezuelan men were injured after an ICE agent shot at them. The agents have not been identified and are now on administrative leave. Lyons said they could be fired and face criminal prosecution.
President Trump says voter ID will be required for the upcoming midterm elections, even if Congress doesn't approve it. In a pair of Truth Social posts today, the president says he will issue an executive order in which he will make his legal case on the matter. He also wrote there should be a ban for mail-in ballots with some exceptions. It's unclear how President Trump could mandate voter IDs across the country without congressional approval. Earlier this week, the Republican-controlled House passed legislation that would require voter ID to vote in federal elections. However, the bill is unlikely to pass the Senate, where it would need bipartisan support.
Well, let's turn now to a developing story in San Joaquin County. A house fire Thursday left a 14-year-old boy dead. Neighbors say they are still shocked.
Yeah, such a sad story. It's truly a difficult time for the firefighters as well. They tried to save the young victim, but they say he was not able to make it out alive.
Yeah, we're told this fire happened around 1 a.m. Thursday at a home in North Stockton. Fire officials say it took about 20 minutes to extinguish. 4 people made it out safely, but a 14-year-old boy was not able to make it out in time. Neighbors say their community is very tight-knit. Some set up a small memorial with roses, still processing what happened and trying to help where they can.
You know, we're all willing to lend a hand and help them out in any way we can, you know, whether it's through food or, you know, just talking or whatever it is.
Investigation into how that fire started is still ongoing. Fire officials say Red Cross was called out to help the family on scene as well.
The 3-year-old child at the center of a suspicious death investigation in Sacramento has been identified as Jeremiah Cash Carter. You may remember we first brought you this story as breaking news at 4 p.m. Sacramento police and fire crews responded yesterday to a medical emergency and found the 3-year-old boy inside the home on Douglas Street with serious injuries. Despite life-saving efforts, the child died at the scene. Homicide investigators are now calling it a suspicious death. They're interviewing neighbors, reviewing surveillance video, and working to piece together what happened.
Now to an update to a story we first brought you last month. A Placer County judge has denied the proposed placement of sexually violent predator William Stevenson in the Alta community. In a hearing today, the judge determined the presence of a local private school a quarter-mile away from the proposed location posed safety and legal risks. Stevenson has a history of inappropriate sexual conduct with minors, causing concern from Alta residents. Stevenson served a state prison sentence for sexual crimes and was granted conditional transient release back in 2023. Placer County officials have been looking for somewhere to house him ever since. The next hearing on his placement is next month. The court will receive an updated report on housing options.
Listen to this. The Sacramento City Unified School District voted last night to close more than 400 positions for this coming school year. The district is facing a $113 million deficit this next school year. As we've been reporting, the district was facing insolvency this current school year, but they were able to identify nearly $44 million in savings. Leaders tell us that's just enough to keep them barely afloat and away from a state takeover. But next year's deficit still looms, which is why the board is making cuts, ranging from some instructional aides and food service employees to occupational therapists and security officers, even some teachers. About a quarter of those, more than 400 positions, are currently vacant. Board members have told ABC10 they want to keep cuts as far away from the classroom as possible. The president of the local United Professional Educators says no matter what, even without cutting teachers, students will feel the impact.
It's going to affect everything in our district. This deficit is not going to be able to not affect kids. The less certainty we get, the harder it is for us to be stable for our students and our school community.
The district has a deadline of March 15th to issue initial layoff notices and May 15th for final notices. Now, it's important to note that this is an early step in a very long process, and not all positions slated for closure may actually lead to a layoff. Coming up at 6:30 on To the Point, what comes next in this budget process?
Coming up, the western half of the U.S. is dealing with a dry winter season. How the snow drought will affect the Mountain West.
A dry start to the weekend, but our next storm on the move. New weather impact alert going into effect.
Let's continue tracking that breaking news tonight. Right now, an incident at a Powerhouse in Yuba County is leading to a power outage, impacting thousands of customers just as we head into the long holiday weekend.
Yeah, right on your screen right here, you're seeing a live look at the outage map. that shows at this point at least 3,000 PG&E customers are impacted tonight.
Okay, we do want to show you a closer look at exactly what we're seeing. If we can just kind of stick on this image for a while. This is a broken pipe, okay? PG&E says when that pipe broke, it flooded a powerhouse. And you know what that means. It caused major damage to one of their systems, and that led to major power outages. You can see in these photos from CAL FIRE the massive flooding that is happening right now, and that is what has led to the thousands of power outages at this time.
Yeah, some stunning images there. Here's some more perspective on what's going on here. According to the Yuba Water Agency, this incident is happening at the new Colgate Powerhouse facility just south of the town of Dobbins. You can see where that's all situated here on this map on your screen. They're asking people to avoid this area while they investigate. This is a developing story. We are going to continue to gather new information throughout the night. So far, we're told no injuries have thankfully been reported.
I do want to show you this. Tonight, State Senator Megan Dolly says, my team is monitoring this incident, and we hope to understand more about exactly what happened. For now, she says, I'm very grateful for the news that there were no injuries and that the workers at that plant were evacuated. My prayers are with all those involved as they work on these repairs. And after seeing those images, it is indeed good to hear that no one was hurt and that they were able to get everyone evacuated. But again, the breaking news tonight, you see a pipe broken at the new Colgate Powerhouse is leading to thousands of power outages. Again, just as we head into this long weekend, there you see some of those images that we have been talking about. One of the things that we do have to stress with this is that this is breaking news. We're getting new information in really by the hour. And so we know that this is going to be one of those stories that's going to have quite the impact as they try to go in and clean up. The initial case that they've been able to make is that they have been able to evacuate the workers, that no one has been hurt, that there are no injuries. The challenge now, though, is being able to assess this major damage, determine what they're going to need to do to get things back up and running. Again, we've heard from PG&E, we've heard from the state senator there. We're monitoring this throughout the evening. Stay with us for updates.
Yeah, especially with at least 3,000 customers being impacted right now, coming on the big long holiday weekend, and especially on the verge of another big weather system. So let's talk weather now. Folks on the East Coast have been seeing brutal cold and snow over the past couple of weeks. But as we know, it's been a different story so far here in the West.
Here's ABC's Sophie Flay.
In parts of the Mountain West, the view this winter has looked more like spring. And there's concern. Even future storms may not alleviate the snow drought gripping the region. Unprecedented warmth has left snow cover at the lowest level in decades.
Just a matter of not enough snow, not enough precipitation. It's a matter of the temperatures being so high. It's kind of a double whammy here.
In Colorado, the snowpack is only 57% of the average level. The Florida Panhandle seeing more snow this season than Salt Lake City. The lack of white powder threatening to melt the winter economy. Vail Ski Resort operating with just 69% of its terrain open. Breckenridge just 60%. Experts warn the region is now primed for an early and aggressive wildfire season. With the upper Colorado River Basin at the heart of this drought, millions could face higher water bills and strict water usage limits in the months ahead. A low-pressure system developing over the Four Corners region is expected to bring a wintry mix to higher elevations today. But with deficits this deep, water managers warn they'll need a lot more than one storm to save the season.
We just have to be very, very judicious, very careful, and strategic about how we manage the resource.
In parts of the plains, the dry ground posing a more immediate danger. This massive grass fire burning in Oklahoma. Rain is expected in that region later today.
Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Conversation going here as we bring in Chief Meteorologist Monica Woods now. Some dramatic images there. And really here in our area, very calm, but don't be deceived by that, right? Especially if you're heading up the hill. It's going to be a different story in a couple of days.
And you know, Laura made a great point as well when it comes to that breaking news. We've got this storm system coming in. They're dealing with this pretty major issue with this pipe break.
Yeah, you could see how the erosion was quickly taking place on that hillside there. This is part of the Yuba Water Agency near New Bullard's Bar. It's off of the Feather River as well. So this is a big connection point, and they do a lot of aggressive kind of mitigation to make sure that the area is served with water. They're really forward thinking. So this is going to be a developing story for sure. We're following that right now. In fact, I was trying to do some background work as I was hustling over here. But let's get to this incoming weather system right now, because we are going to be tracking that weather impact alert. Heading our way starting Sunday, this is going to take us through next Wednesday. So we're going to be putting a lot of rain on the hillside. One of the good things about this is we are going to see some low snow, so that's not going to add to additional water coming down the hill, kind of filling and swelling some of those rivers that many times can happen, especially when we have those higher snow levels. It's just so much water gushing down the hill as gravity takes it into the lower elevations of the valley. Highs for today with the sunshine in the 60s, 50s and 60s for the foothills, and 40s up top for the Sierra. As we look live outside in downtown Sacramento, we're in the 60s with clear skies, 39 for Tahoe. Sunset 5:42. So tonight we pick up the cloud cover. It's a dry Saturday forecast for our Valentine's Day, but this big plume of moisture is getting ready to press our way. It's going to connect with some very cold air, and that's going to send snow levels crashing down into the foothills by next week. Wind alert. We have this wind advisory in place Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. Wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Could see some power outages and some problems with some trees. This all comes as the cold air starts to connect with that rain and snow that's coming in. It will really press that snow line down, also bring us periods of gusty winds through next week, all the way into the mountains. Very difficult travel up there. We're talking wind gusts over 50 miles per hour. Here's a look at our snow level forecast as it starts to come down to about 2,500 to 2,000 feet on Wednesday, and it's going to stay there into our Thursday forecast as well. And that leads us to our winter storm watch Sunday into next Wednesday. 2 to 8 feet of snow. Expect major travel delays as we get into the President's Day weekend. Here comes the band of rain developing on Sunday. That takes us into our Monday forecast. Now, at that point, we're seeing some pretty standard snow levels between 5,000 and 6,000 feet. But then during the day, comes down. And then by Tuesday night into Wednesday, we still see active weather, and that delivers that snow level down to about 2,000 to 2,500 feet. Several feet of snow for this year, 2 to 3 plus inches of rain for the valley by the time we wrap things up on Thursday. Highs for tomorrow in the 40s for the Sierra, with 50s and 60s down low. We'll see that across the coast as well. Central Valley locations, mostly cloudy skies for our Saturday, but dry for Valentine's Day. Our highs in the 50s to near 60. So our extended outlook, this certainly tells the story. You see how those temperatures cool into the 20s for afternoon highs. That's at lake level. We're talking highs in the 40s for much of the foothills and near 50 for the coast. We'll see that as well for the valley. Weather impact alert starts on Sunday, continues President's Day, and lasts into next Wednesday with highs only near 50. More showers possibly by the end of next weekend as well.
Yeah, these are some huge changes headed our way, even bigger than what we've experienced earlier this week, right?
Okay, and we have to stress, if you have plans to head up the hill, make sure you got plans to get back safely, right?
There you go.
Okay, we're back right after this. Welcome back. We are continuing to track this broken pipe incident happening at the new Colgate Powerhouse in Yuba County. Okay, so listen to this. Didn't I tell you? I tell you that this was a developing story, that we were going to be getting new information, and that has happened. We are now learning that one person is sadly unaccounted for, okay? First responders are in the area. They are searching for that one person. As we mentioned, this incident caused those major power outages. We know now that 15,000 PG&E customers are impacted. Look at how that changed within just minutes. We were hearing 3,000, 2,000, and now up to 15,000 PG&E customers being impacted. You can see in these photos from CAL FIRE the massive flooding that they're facing.
Yeah, such a dramatic situation. We want to show you another perspective here of where this is all happening. You see here in this live outage map, it shows just some of the customers that are impacted. But again, just within minutes here, we've learned that the number of impacted customers has grown from at least 3,000 to now 15,000 customers. It is growing exponentially by the minute. We are learning this is impacting Sutter, Nevada, and Yuba counties. And here's some more information we're learning. According to the Yuba Water Agency, this incident is happening at the new Colgate Powerhouse facility just south of the town of Dobbins. Here's another map on your screen here to put this in perspective so you can see where this is all happening. They're asking people to avoid this area while they investigate. And as in those photos we showed you earlier, it is a massive area. There's a lot going on there, and there is a search for someone. This is a developing story. So far, we are learning no injuries have been reported.
Let's go over to some of the statements that we're getting in about this tonight. State Senator Megan Dolly says, my team is monitoring this incident and we help to understand more about what happened. For now, she talks about how she's grateful that there were no injuries and that the workers at the plant were evacuated. But again, we're told just minutes ago, we're learning that they are searching for at least one person who is unaccounted for, okay? She says her prayers are with all those involved as they work on the repairs. But like we just learned again, one person is unaccounted for. That's according to CAL FIRE. Crews are searching as we speak. We're working to get more information into the newsroom. This is one of those things that's going to be developing throughout the evening. And understand that the nature of this thing, right? Just the scale. I don't know if we can get that picture back up so that you can see what first responders are dealing with. The scale of this thing, right? The amount of water that they're dealing with, the amount of flooding that they're dealing with. There are just so many moving parts. And so understand that sometimes the initial reports you get, they change. They evolve as the evening goes because they're learning new information, okay? So stay with us. We're following it. We'll have much more throughout the evening right here on the ABC10 app. We're back after this. We'll talk about a busy Friday evening. Look at that. We've been tracking this broken pipe incident happening at the new Colgate Powerhouse in Yuba County. As we told you, at least one person is unaccounted for, and first responders are in the area searching for them as we speak. Now, this incident has caused major power outages. We now know at least 15,000 PG&E customers are impacted. You can see the damage in these photos. We're going to be working to learn more throughout the evening. Stay with us for updates.
Yes, remember to watch us anytime, any day on your schedule on the ABC10 app. We're staying on top of this breaking news.